Ever since the league merged with DraftKings and FanDuel, and those became the official betting platforms of the NBA, they sort of been doing this balancing act in which they're sort of trying to make sure that the legitimacy of their game stays intact, but at the same time they're chasing brand new revenue sources with the gambling and also brand new fan engagement that comes with it. And the reason why I say it's a balancing act, because we all know with the gambling culture, there is a sort of subculture of degeneracy that comes along with it, aka addiction. Now, Bradley Beal had recently got into it with a fan while he was exiting the tunnel. Adam Silver has to keep in mind with this brand new merger with the gambling companies that fans do have direct access to NBA players and with the in-game experience in these arenas. Unlike Major League Soccer, which he loves to use that as a blueprint, the fans over there, they can go to these games and bet on the games in these arenas, but soccer players are very far away from the fans. The engagement is not as close as the NBA. That is part of the NBA selling their in-game arena tickets. They do promote the fan experience, being very close to the players, being able to high-five the players. So Adam Silver got to keep this in mind. So I know he loves to use the international soccer blueprint, but these soccer players sit in sort of like a dugout on the soccer field. They're very far away from the fans. Even if the fans are throwing bottles at them, they're not going to feel it. But Bradley Beal got into it with a fan. I'm going to go to the chat GBT for the story.
Beal was exiting the court area through a tunnel where fans were lined up to watch the players leave the court when, according to the police report, an unidentified person said to Beal, "You made me lose $1,300, you fuck."
Once again, that's that degeneracy that comes in with that gambling culture. And the league right now, especially with the merger with DraftKings and FanDuel, it's sort of like the same merger that they did with Twitter, where some of the highlights and other content gets ran through some of these betting platforms. AKA the league has a separate stream for just gambling within their own NBA app. And also FanDuel and DraftKings will have highlights on their own platforms of the NBA, official license highlights and everything. So this is a full merger. And another thing that's possibly going to turn this thing to a whole nother demon is that with the new CBA, a lot of the NBA players themselves can invest in these gambling companies. So we all know with this media landscape, news gets around and fans will know real fast who owns what stake and what gambling companies. But let's go back to the chat GBT to hear what happened.
"You made me lose $1,300, you fuck." The alleged victim, a friend of the unidentified person, filed the complaint, alleging that Beal then approached him, swatted his hat off his head and, in doing so, made contact with the left side of his head, according to the case report. A police officer reviewed video footage of the altercation and the alleged victim is heard saying that wasn't him, implying he did not make the comment, according to the case report. The officer wrote that the man who filed the complaint and his unidentified friend got into a verbal argument with Beal regarding what happened, and Beal is heard on video saying this is his job, and he takes it seriously. The complainant is heard apologizing, according to the report. According to the complaint, probable cause exists to charge Beal with simple battery, and charges will be filed at large with the state attorney's office. The man who filed the complaint desires prosecution, the case report says. No charges had been filed as of Tuesday afternoon. "We are aware of the situation regarding Bradley Beal in Orlando, but won't have further comment until we've gathered more information," the Wizards said in a statement to The Athletic on Tuesday. NBA spokesman Mike Bass said in a statement, "We are aware of the report and in the process of gathering more information."
So it seems like Bradley Beal, when he was heading out the tunnel, he approached the wrong person who he thought had uttered those words to him. And, he just flicked his hat. His hand probably brushed against his skin. And now this guy is trying to get a payday. But this is the balancing act the league has to perform when dealing with this whole gambling merger. Of course, they're going to benefit through the money and through the fan engagement. But once again, there is a subculture that comes with gambling, and that is some degeneracy and addiction. And when you factor in some of these attributes and the fact that when fans go to these NBA games, part of their experience is having close access to the players. This does create a tricky situation.